Hi, I'm Eric, the creative director of Aksanyah Studios, and the artist of the webcomic series Milhamah Fighting Words, which I started in 2018. I'm currently working on an action RPG based on my Milhamah series, and I'm using the Godot 4.0 engine to do it. While I'm far from being the most proficient programmer in the world, Godot's modular approach to game design is mostly fun and intuitive, kind of like building Legos. So far, I'm about a month or two in the game development process, and our company's technical director and chief programmer, Tony, just joined up. So I expect progress on this game to be rapid over the next few months. This is not the first time that we've tried to make a Milhamah video game with Godot. Back in 2020, I heard about the Godot game engine and took interest. I reviewed some tutorials online and then started a demo of an action game based on my series, which is about the grammatical parts of speech coming to life and fighting the ultimate Tower of Babel. By the end of that year, Tony and I posted a minimally viable demo of our game, complete with a scoring system and leaderboard on itch.io. But the prospect of designing fluid animations of dozens of characters and tile sets with dozens of locations was daunting to me. Soon enough, life got in the way, and many of the additional features I wanted to add to that game never came to fruition. This time around, I am taking a different approach to prevent that from ever happening again. So far, I have decided on a lo-fi, 8-bit, Game Boy style aesthetic. Each background tile and each sprite has 4 colors, and a shader creates palettes based on a level theme. This will give me the freedom to use shaders to reuse graphics and make things much more manageable. I figure this is a better option because the game is going to have loads of content, and I need to divide my time between making sprite graphics and designing comment. In the future, I might try adding multiple shaders on the screen at once, both to the background and to the sprites. The end result could produce graphics like the Game Boy Color used to. Let me know in the comments what you think about this idea. For sprite art, I've mostly been using Sprite lately. While I've used Photoshop and even used Adobe Animate in the past to make pixel art, Sprite saves me time with this pixel perfect brush. When I'm not designing pixel art, I'm also working on music. On my earlier game, another musician, Threadborn, made some tunes. This time around, I'm using my knowledge of music theory to compose songs using FL Studio. There's a plugin package called Super Audio Cart that's filled to the brim with sound samples to make great retrogaming soundtracks and chiptunes. There are samples that sound like a Super NES, Sega Genesis, and more. It's helping me make some really catchy melodies, and I can't wait to share more soon. In terms of gameplay, so far I developed a title screen, multiple playable characters, 2 levels, and 2 bad guys. There are 3 playable characters from the Holy Tongue Society: Shemetzim the noun, Tikva Tavit, the article, and Etkar Toar, the adjective. Each has different base stats, though their animations are based in the same frame order. Although Milhamah already has tons of concept art, which is available on my website and Instagram, I want to keep assets limited until I nail down how I want to organize my code. Here are some of the other game mechanics I've implemented so far. First, let's talk about the LP and MP bars on the HUD screen. In my game, the player's health is measured in liability points. That's kind of like HP. A separate bar, the merit point bar, will deplete after using certain special attacks. Because merit is so essential to gameplay, I implemented a charging feature that recuperates MP when pressing both attack buttons at the same time. In the future, I want merit to also increase when the hero gets hit, as well as implement a special attack, like a limit break, when the meter reaches 100. Right now, the levels are the Portan Mushroom Forest and the Karur Underground Ice Houses. They're both my comic series. The bad guys you see fighting there might not be in those areas in the final product. Again, I'm trying to nail down the fundamentals first. Eventually, the game will feature puzzles based on collecting Hebrew letters to make words. I'd like to make these puzzles sort of like Number Munchers or other edutainment games from that era. Solving these puzzles will give you access to valuable items to defeat your foes. These puzzles will fit my game's theme because the Milhamah comic series has lots of Hebrew references and puns. After all, the plot and theme are loosely based on stories from the Dead Sea Scrolls, as well as the Tower of Babel. so learning some simple vocab words will be a side bonus to anyone who plays. Who says gaming can't be educational? Going forward in the weeks ahead, there are a few things I plan to flesh out next. One is the item drop system. Currently, there's an item called a portobello port, which you may see occasionally dropping when you defeat an enemy, but it doesn't do anything. And while I have an inventory screen mocked up, it too isn't functional, but fixing that is high on my priority list. So if you're curious about this project and want to see more, like, subscribe, and hit the notify bell so you'll get continued updates. I hope to make videos once or twice a month, so stay tuned and I promise to give you the latest word.